Hello everybody, it's Thea and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Garden Goddess Tarot. And today is going to be our basically monthly tarot related roundup. There's a ton of things I want to do and I'm going to cram them all into this video and it's going to be a party. At first I thought I would just do like a nice quick video, but something tells me that that's not going to happen. That never happens. I always end up talking for an hour. So strap in. It'll probably be a nice long tarot chat about all of the things that have been on my brain this month. New decks I got, decks I'm working with, decks I plan on working with, some ideas that have been floating around in my head that have been sparked by watching all of the other wonderful YouTube content in TarotTube lately. So yeah, let's go. Actually, I want to drink this. Okay, so usually I like to start off with a mandatory garden update. We had some snow. The garden looks like this now. Yes, it snowed. The snow's kind of like melty now, but for the most part, things are pretty chill. Quite literally. Didn't mean that pun, but it came out, so it was meant to be. So yeah, that's the garden right now. Cold, frosty, dead. Right on track. So November went by like a flash in the night, it seems. It was only just Samhain, and now Yule is right around the corner. That being said, I did manage to get a lot of spiritual content in my life. I have been deep diving with the Rider-Waite this past month in my off time, just to get reacquainted with the cards from a, I guess, Rachel Pollack's perspective, as well as taking in really solidifying my own personal meanings of the cards. So this is my borderless, like, Centennial edition. I tend to use this one more for study and my old one for those little special reading times, if you know what I mean. So this one is a little bit of a different coloring, nicer cardstock. Actually, I say nicer cardstock, it's warped on me kind of funny. I have to do my best to like, but it's a Libra shape, the deck, from riffle shuffling it. But anyway, that just means I'm using it and it's fine. I genuinely don't care. Cardstock doesn't matter on this channel. But this deck I've been kind of diving deep with again and really familiarizing myself with my own meanings of the cards. So I've been doing a lot of thinking about how big I would like my stash of decks to be, because I know in my heart from the day I started getting more than one deck that there will become a point where I have too many that I can use effectively. And if I'm not using it regularly, I'm not familiar with it, and if I'm not familiar with it, then with tarot, Oracle's different, but with tarot, if I'm not using it regularly and I'm not connected to it, it doesn't perform the way I think a deck should. And what I mean by this is the tarot card meanings are not in the picture on the card. The tarot card meanings are in here, or on the inside, are in your heart. So what I feel like we're doing when we are using different decks is we are building upon that internal meaning that we have for that card stored in both our heart and our brain. It's like a mixture of both. So there comes a point where I believe that if I reach a point of too many decks, that internal meaning of the card gets clouded and muddy, and then I can't read as effectively. So coming back to things like the Rider-Waite-Smith, as well as the Madsen, which I've been using a lot this month, and now the Thoth, it gives me a nice, almost like a reset to my interpretations of the cards and how I like to read them. And then I take those meanings and apply them to all the other fun art decks that I get to use as like a privilege. But for the most part, these are my like home base. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Because over the last few months, I've kind of strayed away from the Rider-Waite-Smith, considering it was the only system that I used for like 15 or 20 years. So I'm coming back around to it. I'm getting some new insights about these specific cards. I plunked it back in order to go through systematically, and I'm getting a lot from it, and it's just kind of like, you know, bringing me home, so to speak, which is really nice. So those three, Rider-Waite-Smith, the Nicholas Converter du Marseille, and the Crowley's Thoth, I'm getting a lot of use out of. This particular deck is on the more new to me side. I found with my greenie it was too big to just like whip out whenever. This one I can keep in my purse or just keep close to me. And because it's not as precious, I can beat it up, shuffle the crap out of it, and, you know, do my thing. And yeah, I'm getting a lot out of using this alongside the other ones. So that's kind of been what November's been like. So that's been fun. I've been getting some really great readings with those. And I find because it's not a new shiny kind of deck, like not one that I've just purchased, and I'm going to it with actual questions instead of wanting to play with the deck and then trying to think of something to ask it, you know? Do you ever get that when you've got a deck, it's brand new and you're so excited about it, but you can't think of anything you want to know? Like, you're fine. You have no pressing questions, so you're just like pulling cards just for fun. But I don't know, I find it's a good way to get to know the deck, but I don't know, I find I have a better experience reading tarot when I do actually go to a deck with a specific question than just, you know, dicking around. So anyway, yes, that. I don't want to sound like a tarot elitist or anything. I still like occasionally, I still pull out all my other decks, but I want to be really sure in my own personal meanings for each of the cards to be able to bring them to other decks instead of, you know, getting overwhelmed, which is I think what happens when we get too many decks, is we get overwhelmed because there's just so many interpretations of the same card, and especially if we don't have a really solid idea of what that card means for us, then it gets muddy. And it's so, especially if you're in the learning stages of tarot, getting muddy is not helping you decide what that card means for you. It's just confusing, it's overwhelming, and every new deck's trying to like be the next new thing that, ooh, this is different, ooh, this is different, we're different because we do it this way, and this card is subversive in this deck, which is all well and good, but if you're trying to learn, it's awfully confusing. So that being said, that's a bit of a rant, but not expecting a rant. I'm the first one to appreciate a beautiful art deck. Oh my gosh, I love them. But going back to the basics, really solidifying for myself what those tarot card meanings are with decks that I choose. You can choose 3 completely different decks to base your personal understanding of tarot off of. It doesn't have to be these 3. These 3 are just the ones I picked. It could be any of them. Then it's good. That's what I would recommend. And I'm gonna stop rambling now. We're gonna move on to the next thing, which is oracle decks. As I said previously, I'm relatively new to the world of oracle decks. Until the last year, I was always under the impression that oracle decks were these fluffy angel decks that grandmas used, because that was all I'd ever seen of them. When I was a kid, my friend and I, we read tarot cards, and she had a fluffy grandma angel deck, and that's just what I thought oracle decks were, and I'm like, nope, not for me, thanks. So, having discovered the limitless world of oracle decks that exist now, I've jumped right in, so to speak, and I think it's kind of fun. I will always in my heart be a tarot aficionado. Tarot is my number one. I go to tarot when I have questions. I go to oracle when I have feelings. So I'm going to show you a few of the oracle decks that I've been playing around with this month and that are new to me, that might be new to you, that have been making the days a little bit brighter. So first one that I use every day, which showed up in my only 10 decks video because it's freaking awesome, is the Devas of Creation by Scylla Conway. And every morning I pull one of these, and I put it up on my little altar thingy, which is the top of a shelf, and I look at it and I think about it, and it's great. These are visualizations, interpretations with paint of entities and beings, or devas. Devas is what they are. They're basic, some people could call them angels, but they're not angels. They're just embodiments of energy that are in the world. And I really like pulling one every day. So I'll show you the one I got today because I did a card pull. Here's my guidebook. I'm still at the point where I need the guidebook. It's relatively new to me, but I pulled this one. Isn't this pretty? This is the one I pulled today, and it's called Witness. And it's about like standing sure in a world that is crumbling around you, basically. I'll read you a little bit from the guidebook because why not? This energy being stands sentinel, while above a comet streaks through the firmament, which is a great word. I love the word firmament. Anyway, All around the clouds, or perhaps the seas, boil. Nevertheless, this deva stands solitary in its vigil on the bedrock below. In times of great change, it holds fast an encouragement to us wherever and whenever we waver. I'm still learning about the deck, but I love it. It's a delightful oracle deck, and I really like pulling a card every day and sitting and thinking about it and reviewing it at midday, the end of the day, whenever I come by, and just think about it, and it's cool. I haven't been pulling it next to tarot yet. Once I get a firm grasp of each of the cards by doing daily draws, I'll probably start using it in conjunction with like the Shimmering Veil and the Intuitive Tarot and that sort of thing. But it's a great one to be getting to know, and I'm really enjoying it. Show you some more cards because they're pretty. Yes, so that is the Devas of Creation by Silicon Way. It's wonderful, and it lives up on my altar-y shelfie thing. I've also been doing some, not daily, but maybe weekly card pulls with the Sacred Rebels Oracle by Alana Fairchild, and Autumn Sky Morrison is the one who did the art for this, and I've been really liking it as well. It goes really well with the Lightseers deck, which is, it's the same kind of energy. It gives me the, you know, really uplifting and youthful, vibrant kind of energy from looking for that, you know, you can take on the world, young buck sort of energy. That's what this gives me, but with like a don't be afraid to, you know, step on some toes in the process kind of vibe. So I like this. This is a very lovely deck that I've been enjoying yanking daily cards with. If I've got the time to sit and read the guidebook, because the guidebook is chunky. You've got to read like 3 or 4 pages per card, so I never pull more than just one, but it's nice. The art's beautiful, and Autumn Sky Morrison, the one who painted these, she's Canadian. She's from Vancouver, so that's always a good bonus. I love seeing Canadian creators out and about making cool stuff. So I think this is a classic deck. Lots of people have it, and it's been really, you know, teaching me about the benefit of these kind of empowering oracle decks. So I also, after discovering the Lillifer Tarot, which I backed on Kickstarter, I did purchase the Reclaim Oracle by the same creator, Marion Constantine, and it came to me and I love it. These are, it's a neat little deck. It's just soft and pretty. So okay, I'll show you some cards. Why not? I did a lovely little unboxing on my Instagram. But it holds space for yourself, and it lets you explore feelings and experiences related to self-worth, your idea of yourself, how others view you. Depends on the spread you pull, obviously, but it's a great little one, and I've been enjoying using it. I haven't been using it as much as the Sacred Rebels or the Devas yet, but I have the rest of my life to work with these, which I keep telling myself when I start to feel a little bit overwhelmed. I have the rest of my life to work with these, but like, don't keep buying more. So yeah, it's great. Like this one here, Shame. Shame is a tough one for a lot of people. So pull that out, throw a couple of tarot cards next to it, ask some deeper questions. It's just a great way to explore yourself, and I love exploring myself. It's a wonderful little oracle deck. So I think it's cool. I'm glad to have it, and you know, it's a fun one for personal development work. Oh, and it goes really well with the Deviant Moon. I found that out recently. I was just messing around pulling tarot cards next to it, and the little like otherworldly creatures in the Deviant Moon tarot just kind of match these little sprite-like beings in this really well. So you've got a little bit of like the twisted harshness of the Deviant Moon, which isn't like super harsh, but just like a little macabre, so to speak. But then these little sprites are like soft and nurturing and happy and comforting. So like the juxtaposition of both of those, like you've got like the barren industrial wasteland of the Deviant Moon world, and then there's just this like solid black emptiness of cosmic space and these happy little like nurturing hug sprites everywhere. It's great. It was a nice combination and I really liked it. So that's the Reclaim Oracle. This past month I've also, with the darkness that's come, I've been kind of called to work with my internal relationship with the divine feminine. Some people refer to it as sacred womanliness, what it's like to be a woman in the world and that sort of thing. And I've acquired a book and a deck that are kind of helping me navigate that realm. And it's kind of fun and really nice, and I'm enjoying the process. So the book is Women Who Run with the Wolves, Myths and Stories of the Wild Woman Archetype, like, oops, Clarissa Pincola Estes, PhD, and it is, I'm not super far into it, but so far it's really nice. I love stories, I love fables, I love tales, and just the way that so far she's weaving those in with the feminine experience in the world and adding reverence to what it's like to be a woman and just embracing that, you know, feminine urge to run off into the woods and just be in peace. I can kind of resonate with that. So I'm enjoying reading this so far. I'm looking forward to getting right into it in December for the dark part of the year. And with that book, I'm also working with The Witch's Tarot by Chris Madsen of Burning Paper Hearts. And this is a tarot deck like none other. It is, I would consider it for me a divine feminine tarot deck, and it's very emotional and evocative, and it is not like any traditional tarot deck that you may or may not have seen. Beautifully packaged, yada yada yada. Rose petal, cardstock. If you're not into that, you won't particularly like this. If you don't like photography decks, you probably won't like this. If you're not into seeing naked people, you're probably not gonna like this. But if any of those are totally fine with you and you're looking for a way to help relate to your body, to find beauty in aspects of femininity that you otherwise might have held some ingrained disdain for, this deck is great, I guess. It does not follow Rider-Waite-Smith in the images. The guidebook does. The guidebook gives you 3 reversed and straight up keywords for each of the cards, which is, I can probably tell you what each, at least, you know, one of the 3 keywords are based on my existing knowledge of tarot. But like I said, the meaning of each tarot card is not in the picture. It's in here and here. So you take those and then you apply what you already know about that card to the image, and then you extrapolate out of that, and it is a beautiful and magical thing, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'll show you some of the cards because they're beautiful. Heads up, nudity. It's dark, but it's beautiful. The photos themselves are wonderful. There's only a couple. They're all women. There's 2 cards in here that are not women, and they're the creator, Chris. Takes gorgeous photos, and the photos themselves are very meaningful, and I think they work really nicely as a tarot deck. So this tarot deck started off as a Maiders Only deck, and it only has recently been expanded to the full Arcana, plus there's a bunch of bonus cards. We've got the Maiden, Mother, Crone, so each of those are represented. However, the Mother and the Crone aren't like particularly old. I'm not gonna say like there's a ton of body size and age diversity in this deck. There's a little bit of body size diversity, but for the most part, not particularly. So that's one thing to know. We've also got Coven, Ritual Magic, Burn at the Stake, Wax Wane, Druid, Hecate, Lilith, Hel, and Selene. So there's some extra representations of the Divine Feminine in there, which is wonderful. And so far, it's been a joy to use. You know, this is a moody deck. What I like to do is I'll light some candles, set up my little space, light some incense, and really like set the scene before I use this to kind of really dive in. And it's not one I just like whip out for a quick reading, if that makes any sense. It's an experience deck in which I like to set the scene and really go at it from that angle, and it's fun. I've been enjoying using it with the book, with the Reclaim Oracle as well, for a bit more self-love. They go really well. They're both that matte black. The cardstock, I find it shuffles fine, but I'm a riffle shuffler. If you're an overhand shuffler, it's a little sticky, but it's not the end of the world. I am really glad that I did buy this. I was a little concerned at first. I saw a few reviews that were unsure about it. I think this deck fits really well into, you know, my arsenal of tarot decks in that it fills a spot that no other deck has filled. It did come with one card that was a little messed up in the printing. I just sent Chris, the creator, an email and he sent one in the mail right away. So no qualms there. It's great. I like it. It may not be for everyone, just heads up, but yes, that is something I've used in the last month and will likely continue to use in the dark months that are coming. And that is the Witch's Tarot by Burning Paper Hearts. And the last one that's relatively new to me is the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. I don't have the Samhain Oracle, and I thought about picking it up, but I just didn't. I was worried that these would be a bit too young for me and, you know, not give me the kind of oracle reading that I wanted, but I was in a mood one day and I thought I really want to lean into Christmas and Yule this year to kind of get the most out of it, because Christmas is not the most happy season for me as a rule. So I thought, let's make it into something that I can enjoy, make my own traditions, get into it that way, and that sort of thing. So I bought the Yule Oracle, and I've only done a couple of card pulls from it. This is only just December. I haven't used it with the tarot deck yet. Oops, slippery. I've got shiny edges, but everybody shows that. They're Yule messages. They're nice. It's really cozy. I feel like it gives me that nice, warm, cozy feeling. And I've been looking for ways to kind of incorporate more Yule into traditions. I'm gonna try and to make some magic this year. And this, I hope, will help. Tranquility, that one's cute. Turning inward. I'm trying. Gatherings. And there's like, you know, everybody's seen these decks, right? There's the little prayer, I guess, invocation at the bottom, and then in the guidebook it kind of goes on to more of a divinatory meaning. So you need the guidebook. You can't just, you can pull a card and read the invocation, but to really get like an oracle meaning from it, you kind of need to go to the guidebook unless you want to go like full on intuitive with it. So anyway, it's all right. Not mad I bought it yet. So that's the Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle by Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz. A deck pairing that I really liked this month that again falls into the oracle category is the Earthbound Oracle and my soul cards, and these work really well together. I really like them. What I'll do is I'll pull one soul card, which if you've never heard of soul cards, they're great. They're just pictures done by Deborah Koff Chapman at the Center for Touch Drawing. And there's no guidebook, there's no titles. They're just for your brain to wander around and explore, and you pull out a little meaning with them, which is super cool. So they're those, and then I pull two of these, so one on either side, and they're the Earthbound Oracle, which is a really clear, specific, but expansive set of cards. And the art style works really well with the soul cards, and I've been noticing some really cool synchronicities between the two. So yeah, they just, color wise, let's see if I can, they're both earthy and intuitive, and I'm really enjoying messing around with these two oracle decks together. I've never paired two oracle decks together for just a reading before. Usually it's either just tarot, just oracle, or tarot and oracle, but like two oracle decks, interesting, and I'm liking it. But yeah, no, I'm pretty chuffed about that one. So those have been fun. The Earthbound Oracle is available on Etsy from Skull Garden Shop, and Soul Cards 1 and 2 are both on Amazon. I only have one, and I've been tempted to buy the other one, but I don't feel like I've exhausted this one enough to justify throwing another whack of cards in the mix. Anyway, I'll probably eventually end up getting it, but for now I just have Soul Cards 1, and that's just fine for now. That has been the decks I've used this last month and the direction I'm going into for next month for December wintry season. Gosh, that was awfully rambly. Oh well, I hope it makes sense. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope the holiday season treats you well and that you find some magic in it, whether it be in some, you know, calm and relaxing alone time. Make some traditions for yourself. treat yourself to a bit of self-care and, you know, appreciate that the light is gone, but it will be coming back to us quite shortly. So, cheers. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And I will see all of you fine people in my next video.